Have you ever caught yourself chasing success and in the midst of it finding out that you've lost yourself or that you're losing yourself? Hi, I'm Dr. Asha. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Real Talk. I want to talk about how we will chase something at the expense of our own selves. This is something it I think we all deal with this at some point in time. You could be doing everything right, but still you feel like you're losing yourself. You feel like you are putting your own values aside, your own needs aside. Maybe you're ignoring your body. Maybe you're saying yes when you mean no. I mean, we've all been there, but why do we do that? And what does it really bring us? But having conversation recently with one of my really good friends that I've known for a very long time. We were talking about how going after the things that we did 10 years ago don't feel as fulfilling now, and how doing the things that are fulfilling now don't match the lifestyles that we've created or the expectations that we created 10 years ago. We were having this deep conversation about this, and it was interesting because it was really, when it boiled down to it, it was about doing what your heart desires, living your purpose. You don't, this is an interesting thing because I realized that a lot of times we have a fear of falling behind. We have a fear of being left out. We have a fear of, we just feel this pressure to keep up with everybody else, keep up with the Joneses, have more, do more, whatever it may be. Oh, this person's doing this over here. How come I'm not able to do that? All these things, just we identify ourselves with our success. That's not who we are. Who we are is who we are on the inside. What we do for our profession doesn't define us. Yes, I highly recommend that you find a profession that you love to do, that makes you happy to do, that gives you energy, that you're able to help people, or whatever it is that you're wanting to do, create a product, whatever it is that motivates you. I highly recommend that. That's super important. But at the end of the day, if you are losing who you are just by chasing success or chasing money, what do you have at the end of the day? Imagine all of it were to disappear in an instant. What would you have? Would you have strong relationships? Would you have your own identity? Do you know who you are? Have you invested the time in your own self-care, in your own self-worth, really? Have you done that? It's easy to get caught up in this, and I know it can be really hard depending on what phase of life you're in. I always used to think whenever I was younger that was just a myth, that, no, I'm always going to want to, be working hard and chasing this and chasing that. But the truth of the matter is as you go along and as you start to learn more about yourself and you realize that, what, it's not worth it to ignore the body signals that my body may be giving me to slow down or to take it easy. We ignore these whenever we're younger or earlier on in our career. We tend to ignore these or suppress them. We will say yes to everything when we actually mean no. You'll start to shift that and start to change that, and you'll start to choose peace over your goals. And this is a big one. I never thought that day would come. I always thought, what, the goals will always reign over peace, even though peace was always very important. Peace of mind was always very important to me. It's been interesting. Some of the things that I learned along the way, and I want to share those with you today. Just a few things that you can, just like practicality, that you can utilize just to kind of hit the reset button as you're going along, no matter what phase of life that you're in. Check in with yourself daily. Ask yourself how you're doing. If you just got home from work and you are completely wiped out and tired, and this is happening over and over again, or that you're feeling drained, or you have more irritability, or you're not able to see your friends and spend time with your family, there may be something there that you want to course correct along the way. When you check in with yourself daily, you're able to course correct those very easily. You also want to set non-negotiables. So a big non-negotiable for me in the last couple of years that has been top priority is getting enough rest. This is something that I would always sacrifice for other people. I would just put that last. I would do a lot of things. And this is something that for me is a non-negotiable. Anybody wants to interfere with my sleeping time, it's a big problem. There are there are ways to figure out what your non-negotiables are, figure out what it is that you need to take care of yourself. For me, it was sleep. I realized that if I don't get good sleep, my body can't heal itself. My mind is not clear. I'm not able to help people in the best way that I can. I don't feel very good. I'm not, very, joyous or happy. So this makes a big difference. Now figure out what your non-negotiables are and set those up for yourself. The other thing is redefine your pace. Your pace does not need to be the same as somebody else's. Just because somebody is going 200 miles an hour does not mean that maybe you want to go 50 miles an hour. Maybe you want to go 100 miles an hour. Whatever it may be, you've got to set your own pace. Redefining this will really help. I know that there was a time that I myself I was really looking at other people outside of myself and trying to adapt my pace with theirs. But then what I realized was that no, I have to go in my own way. Some things I do very quickly. Some things I have to take my time with, and that's okay. But those are some of the practical reset tools that have worked for me, have worked for my clients over the years, and I wanted to share that with you. I would love to hear from you what your tips are, how you don't lose yourself whenever you're chasing external goals or success. I would love to hear that. Be sure to subscribe to our channel, drop a comment below. Be sure to subscribe and get the notifications so that way you get notified of our weekly conversations here. Remember, the goal isn't to build a success or a successful life at the expense of yourself, because it's never a win. It's about building something that feels good for you to do every day and to live. Life is so precious and the time goes by so quickly. Might as well make the best of it and enjoy it as much as we can and share with those people in our lives. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to connecting with you next time.